United States Attorney in Manhattan has confirmed that two Kenyans, Baktash Akasha and Ibrahim Abdallah, a Pakistani Hussein Gullam and an Indian Vicky Goswami, have arrived in New York to face charges of drug trafficking. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney Preet Bahrara announced that the four were extradited to the U.S. after being arrested in Mombasa on the request of the U.S. government. They will be charged with trafficking in massive quantities of heroin and methamphetamine. This confirmation comes even as Kenyan police kept denying any involvement in the extradition of the four. And as KTN News reporter Francis Ontomwana tells us from Mombasa, the announcement ironically arrived after a court in Mombasa had ordered the CID director and the Inspector General of Police to explain the whereabouts of the four suspects.
The last time the four were publicly seen was on the 13th of January this year at the Mombasa law courts. The two Akasha sons and their partners, an Indian and a Pakistani, were appearing in court over a gun altercation drama. Several days later, the four facing drug trafficking offenses in the U.S. disappeared when the extradition case came up Monday. Now, sources say the four suspects were flown to the U.S. aboard a U.S. chartered plane to face charges related to drug trafficking. Lawyer Cliff Ombeta, representing the four, seems worked up.
What happens to the families of these suspects? They have been camping here in court throughout. They have been crying. They have been harassed. They have been beaten. What happens to them? Somebody has to be answerable. We can't allow Americans to come into our country, walk in roughshod, take our people, bully everybody, and then our police keep quiet, our judiciary keeps quiet. We can't allow this.
The lawyer's petition to have the state produce the four hit a snag on Monday, and right now he thinks there is something fishy going on.
The officer who confronted me on Saturday in the morning threatened me. He told me he can blow me off. He told me he's not going to talk to me again. He cocked his gun and put it to my head. That is a threat. That is not even a threat. That is a perfect threat.
Senior detectives from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency and Kenya's Anti-Narcotic Agency were said to have been involved in the operation. Emotions overwhelmed the mother of the Akashas at the court as she recounted the last moments with her kin. She claims officers ransacked their home at the weekend and now she fears for the worst.
Wakapanda juu, wakazunguka rumu zote paka choni, kila pale kuacha paka store kufanya checking. Wametafuta kila pahali na wametoka wakupata chochote na nyumba yangu.
Speaking to KTN News on phone, police spokesperson Charles Owino remained non-committal on the said extradition. Owino said procedures of extradition purely lie with the Department of Immigration, saying their mandate ends at executing warrants of arrest. The chronicles of the Akasha family and their involvement in high-powered drug trafficking claims span through several decades. The senior Akasha, the late Ibrahim Abdallah, was murdered some 17 years ago in Amsterdam, Netherlands by the bullet on drug connections. Up to date, it is not known who ordered the senior Akasha's murder. Francis Ontomwana, KTN News, Mombasa.